Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Mando recap video. Today we're talking about the season 3 finale, but before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing towards 250 subscribers. We're getting very close, but we're not quite there yet, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And real quick, I do apologize for not having any videos up in the last few days. I got 2 sick kiddos running around in the house. I'm currently sick myself. You might be able to tell I might look like a half-dead zombie. But you know, that's just how life goes. A little light goes out in here. Just that's the story of my life. But let's talk about Mando. This week's finale was really good. I don't want to quite say it's great because there are some things I didn't like, but this episode kind of picks up where we left off last week with Din being captured and the rest of the Mandos and Grogu booking it on out of there and trying to flee from like the imperial grasp of Moff Gideon. And it moves really fast. Like they're like escape real quick out of there. Bo-Katan and the rest of them, they go to like this lush green cave that the Mandalorians that they found on Mandalore have been living in, and they're like, oh, we can keep refuge here until all this is figured out. And they're there for like 15 seconds before everything's back to being cool. So they leave, and I was like, it almost feels like we didn't have to go there, but I guess they might have wanted to show that you could still grow new life on Mandalore. Axe Wolves, they kind of tease his death because he goes up and he's like, I'm gonna rescue all the other Mandalorians, get out of here, the TIE fighters and stuff are coming, the Imperial remnants are coming up after us, so get out of here, I'll take care of them. And I personally did think Axe Wolves was gonna die, but he doesn't. He jumps out of the ship at the last second, but more on that later. And then we cut to Din, who kind of rescues himself, really. Everyone thought he was going to be rescued by Bo or Boba Fett for some reason, or, Grogu, but he kind of rescues himself. He takes out these two, Beskar troopers, and then Grogu shows up in the IG-11 stuff, and it's kind of, we follow the two of them as they make their way towards Moff Gideon, and we haven't really gotten much this season, we finally get some badass Din stuff, with him telling R5, like, open the doors, and he's just going through taking out these Beskar troopers and some cool fight scenes, and I'm glad we got that, 'cause, like I've said in all my videos, it's kind of felt like Din took the back seat for this season, but in this finale, it kind of felt like he was kind of reclaiming his spot as the titular The Mandalorian. And then, of course, he does, in fact, get to Moff Gideon while the other Mandalorians are, rallying their forces. They're all coming to face off against Gideon's troops, so that's going on outside, while Grogu and Mando get into Moff Gideon, and the Praetorian Guard show up, and they start, taking on Grogu while Mando faces off against Moff. And I was like, oh, I mean, obviously they're not going to kill Grogu, but I was like, oh no, this probably isn't going to be good, if they just destroyed Paz Vizsla. And they do make quick work of IG-11, that Grogu hops out, and it almost reminded me of like Yoda in, I think is it Attack of the Clones? He faces Dooku and he's hopping around and stuff, and again in Revenge of the Sith against Palpatine. But, Grogu hops up and he's running along until, Bo-Katan comes and takes the fight with Moff Gideon away from Din. Din comes and rescues Grogu, taking out the Praetorian Guards, avenging his, arch rival, Paz Vizsla. And then, of course, Bo-Katan, Grogu, and Din all join forces to, fight Moff Gideon. And then when it looks like they're all about to become toast sandwiches, all four of them, because the Mandalorian starships coming down, Mando and Bo-Katan all surround Grogu, trying to protect him from the flames, while we see Moff Gideon just get eviscerated. Grogu does, a Kanan Jarrus, basically, and does like a force shield, and protects the three of them, Bo-Katan, Din, and himself, from the fire, something that Kanan did for a time, but Grogu does it successfully until the flames go out. And then we kind of see like them relighting the forge, and Paz Vizsla's kid, what's his name, Ragnar, it looks, they don't say it, but it looks like maybe he is either like the foundling now of Axe Wolves, because they're standing together, or maybe he got adopted by Axe Wolves after his father's death, of course. But Grogu officially gets adopted by Din, and it's revealed that Din is not his first name, Djarin's his first name, and now Grogu is Din Grogu, which is kind of cool. He's like Grogu of the Din clan, and he's an official Mandalorian apprentice. And then We leave Bo-Katan and all them on Mandalore so they can, restructure that. And Din and Grogu go back to Navarro, meet up with Carl Weathers, where he offers them a small cabin on the outside of town so they can have a place to rest in between missions. And that's what they do. They link up with the New Republic officer we've seen tons of times. We get a cameo from Dave Filoni in this. And, it's basically, it looks like the next season's going to be Din and Grogu going back to basics, being bounty hunters and working with the New Republic on the sly, not officially, but on the sly. And I like that. The season ends on kind of a happy note with Din and Grogu chilling out by their house. Din's kicking back while Grogu's, using the Force on a helpless little toad, being cute, harnessing his powers more and more. And it looks like we're going to get while it's definitely going to be big again, because we know after season 4 Mandalorian we're getting this big epic movie finale, so you'd have to assume Mando season 4 will be the last season of it, but it looks like it's going to kind of go back to basics, but I'd assume by the end of the season it's going to be all crazy again. I'm glad it didn't set up Ahsoka. I'm glad this didn't springboard into that. I'm glad this has a finite ending, and honestly, if this was the last ever episode of Mando, it'd be a pretty solid last episode, kind of just chilling out. And they're like, hey, we're going to, do honest work, kind of, and, just live our lives. But we know that's not the case. We know we're getting season 4. It shoots this fall. We'll probably get it next fall, early 2025. And I can't wait. I didn't love this season. It's definitely the weakest out of the 3, in my opinion. But I do think there were some really good episodes. I thought episode 1 was solid. Episode 2 was really good. I liked the episode on Coruscant. Episode, I think it's 5, I thought was really good, and then 6 I think is the one with Jack Black. That's my least favorite episode of Mando overall, of all 3 seasons. I hate that episode the more I think about it. Felt like a schlocky SNL sketch in my opinion. But 7 and 8 turned it around for me, so I really liked this season. Didn't quite love it, but I can't wait to see where my favorite characters, Din Djarin and Din Grogu, go next. I can't wait to see it. What did you guys think of this finale and the whole season as a whole picture now that we've seen it all down? Let me know down in the comments below with what you thought of all that. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel as we keep approaching 250 subscribers. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys right here next time.